President Trump says he's not a fan of Pope Leo XIV. The first American pope has criticized the war in Iran multiple times without naming the president. Over the weekend, the Pope suggested a, quote, delusion of omnipotence was fueling the conflict. The president posted this last night. Unfortunately, Leo's weak on crime, weak on nuclear weapons does not sit well with me. Leo should get his act together as Pope, use common sense, stop catering to the radical left, and focus on being a great Pope, not a politician. Trump then doubled down.
I don't think he's doing a very good job. A Pope that says crime is okay in our cities, I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime. He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon so they can blow up the world. I'm not a fan of Pope Leo.
Well, apparently Iran has time. I mean, they're in a ceasefire that's failing, and they can't control their own Strait of Hormuz. It's not theirs, it's international waterway, but they said it was theirs. Anyway, the Iranian president posted this message to the Pope. I condemn the insult to your excellency on behalf of the great nation of Iran. Chief religion correspondent Lauren Green has more. Lauren.
Hey, Harris. Well, you know, a conflict's been brewing for weeks between Pope Leo and President Trump. They've been trading subtle barbs over war and immigration, but the Pope is increasingly outspoken. And over the weekend, as you saw, Trump launched a direct hit. Last night, President Trump unleashed a diatribe against Pope Leo in a lengthy Truth Social post, saying he's not a fan of the first American-born pontiff, calling him weak on crime and a terrible foreign policy. Later on the tarmac at Andrews Air Force Base, Trump doubled down on his comments to reporters.
I don't think he's doing a very good job. He likes crime, I guess. He hit us. Think of it. He's worried about fear.
And Trump later posted this AI-generated image of himself in a robe laying his hands on a man surrounded by people praying. His comments came later after Pope Leo warned in a prayer vigil for peace over the weekend of the delusion of omnipotence that is becoming increasingly unpredictable and aggressive. His Palm Sunday homily quoted the prophet Isaiah, saying God does not listen to the prayers of those who wage war. On the papal plane beginning a 10-day trip to Algiers in Africa, Pope Leo reacted to Trump's post.
My message, the message of the gospel, blessed are the peacemakers. I do not look at my role as being political, politician. I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing.
Now, Trump also posted that Leo should stop catering to the radical left. Leo told reporters on the plane he has no fear of the Trump administration or speaking loudly about the message of the gospel. Harris.
Lauren, thank you very much.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.